Slip, Pink Floyd, off their Momentary Lapse of Reason album. Probably my favorite album, and it's sort of a little of their more fairy-ish, kind of not as hardcore Floyd, but God, such a beautiful album. So, and amazing stuff on there. It's got Learning to Fly, a bunch of really, really good songs. Anyway, Dan RadioStyle. Hey, guess what? Hey, hello. Gonna be doing another one. I get this question a lot. I see this question all over the time. I know Anya's gets this question a lot. I know pretty much every LOA coach out there gets this question all the time. So if you're a coach, this might be beneficial as well. But what you'll find in many, many cases, a lot of us like, right, I've been doing this. I've been doing all this stuff. I've been doing all this work. I've been doing it for weeks and months and years and whatever. And it's not working. Or every time I get close to what's going to happen, it always seems to break down. I don't know why. What am I doing wrong? Or it's taken so long. I must be doing something wrong. What am I doing wrong? Now, in every single one of these cases, seriously, especially just right the ones I just gave anyway, the belief is built into the statement. And so many of us do not pay attention to what we're saying. It is the easiest thing truly to pay attention to. I mean, it takes consciously paying attention to yourself and then actually being critical, sort of, if you will, of the words you're using, of the things you're thinking. But when I say things along the lines of every time I get close, it breaks down. Yeah, okay. That's odd because every time you get close, it breaks down. Well, that's what you keep saying. Of course it does. That's why I keep joking about the traffic signals. One thing, and I learned this in Tennessee when I moved out there for 5 years, and I always thought it was bizarre because here in California, we call traffic signals typically traffic signals, right? That's just what we call them. It's a signal for traffic. Nah, not really good or bad, very benign in its description, right? It's just a signal for traffic. Cool. In Tennessee, at least in eastern Tennessee, in the Knoxville area, it was actually Loudon. Out in Tennessee, they call them red lights. Go to the red light, and then you make a right at the red light, and then you go one more red light. Actually, in the small town I was at, there was literally like 2 red lights. There was only like 2 red lights. You drive to the next red light, and you're at the freeway, or you're pretty much in another state once you hit that second red light. But again, they call them red lights. To me, that's kind of a backwards thing. And it bothered me when I was there, and I refused to call them red lights. Refused to. I called them traffic signals just to irk them. Make it more difficult. Extra syllables. Dang it, I can't say that word. Calling it a red light makes it a red light. Makes it red. It's always red. Well, that's why I call it a red light. It's always red. Oh, once again, our beliefs are coming through. And so many of us, I've been doing this for years, I've been doing this for months, and then this happens. Or I've been doing this for months, and this is always the outcome. Or I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm doing everything right, and then it just never happens. Because you believe that. Because you say that. Because you keep reinforcing that. Because you keep getting online, learning new techniques and law of attraction, because the ones you currently know don't work. Boom, your belief. Stop right there. Stop. Right off the bat, your intention is flawed. The techniques you know are perfect. Unless you don't like doing them, they're perfect. It's thought process inside our heads. It's the fact that we don't believe. It's the fact that we keep shooting ourselves in the foot over and over and over with the things we think, believe, and say surrounding our manifestations. And I know a lot of us are going, well, I'm just trying to describe what the issue is. Right. That's exactly what you're doing. You're describing what's going to continue to happen. So if you have to ask someone a question about how you're failing in law of attraction, what can I do different? Stop asking questions about how you're failing. What can I do different? Stop thinking that you're failing. I know it sounds easier, and I know you could say, well, I've been doing this, but that's the belief. That's where, so again, if you don't believe that you can manifest stuff in your own life, then like I always say, go back to the beginners, go back to the basics, go back to the simple stuff. Stop trying to manifest a skyscraper when you haven't even built a Lego house yet, right? Like, the scope of what you're trying to create, it's really past your abilities. And martial arts, right? Learn how to do a front thrust kick, before you try to do a jumping, spinning roundhouse, right? Like, wait, learn the crazy stuff after you got the basics down. Now, if you've got the basics down, and I've manifested this, I've manifested that, but I can't seem to manifest this. Did you just say another limiting belief? Yes. Somehow it's different. That's another one I hear. I've manifested money, I've manifested jobs, but the special person, I don't know. I can't seem to do that. All right, beliefs, boom. Check off your beliefs. How do I change beliefs? I know a lot of people keep asking, well, okay, I believe that. How do I change them? Just think something else. Think about the opposite. I'm never able to do this, or significant person's different somehow, right? That's what I just caught myself saying, right? So now it's like, well, actually, no. Manifesting is manifesting. Creating a thing is creating a thing. A person is just the same thing. It's still, everything requires people to be involved. So the relationship really is no different. The same techniques work for relationships, work for jobs, work for money. So why should it be any different? And it shouldn't. And there you go. There's a little conversation you have inside your head to your ego or whoever it is that's getting angry all the time. And you're like, look, this works fine. I don't know where you came up with that belief, but I'm done with that. Consciously, I don't want to believe that anymore because first, it doesn't suit me. Second, it's not helping me. And third, it's not really true. A lot of us, and it's just I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, and I know a lot of people are like, well, I do. I'm always doing this, but I think sometimes I'm not able to. Really? Did you hear yourself? I see it all the time. The answer, most of the time, for you coaches out there, the answer, most of the time, is in the question. The question is the answer. A lot of times, the very nature of the question that's being asked contains the concern, the problem, the reason. Or, what it's also fun with relationships, totally an aside, but just for coaches while we're on the subject, a lot of times there's a whole bunch of information you can tell they're leaving out, like the relationship, and then, we were talking and everything was good and there was no issues, and then all of a sudden they blocked me on every single thing of social media. Really? All of a sudden they just blocked you willy-nilly out of everything? Now, I'm sure there's one case out there where that probably happened. Who knows? But most of the time, something occurred that's not being mentioned that caused a problem. So they texted him 15 times a day and he didn't respond back. And then they got mad at him and it turned into a fight and boom, they got blocked. Well, that's important to mention. That's the problem. That's where there's an issue. It's not that everything was going groovy and wonderful and great. And then all of a sudden, it didn't. No, you're either leaving facts out because you don't want anyone to know you screwed up and you're just trying to figure out, right? Or B, you somehow are ignoring the fact that you caused a problem. Again, we have to look at what we're doing. If something's not occurring in your life, it's not because what you're doing is broken. It's not because what you're practicing is wrong. You've got a limiting belief somewhere. I'm almost going to guarantee it. So we find that limiting belief. We find it, we address it, we look at it, and then we basically say the opposite, or at least we find a new truth that works better for us. Ultimately, there is no truth. I mean, really, it's what we think it is. It's what we decide it is for the most part, right? I mean, even hot, for example, to some people, their level of hot tolerance is far different than other people's level of hot tolerance, right? So it's super hot. The guy's like soaking his hand in it going, really? Like I bathe in this. What are you talking about? So everything's relative to everybody else. So don't think that you're good, wrong, bad. It's all relative to you. It's your world. It's your thoughts, your reality. It's yours to create. It's your painting that you're doing every day. I think I need more blue. Yes, and a little yellow sunset's coming in. It's our painting. Let's make it awesome. And if there's something wrong with the painting, it's yours to fix. And I'm promising you, there is something within your belief structure. You catch yourself. You'll say it. I think this, but now all of a sudden you're starting to see like you're putting, there's a group of people, like I just did a show on recently too, like there's a group of people that maybe you think a certain way about and you keep wondering why you can't get close to that group of people. Well, you've got opinions. Let's look at what we believe. Let's look at how we're looking at this like this can't happen. People trying to get exes back. You, in a lot of cases, believe you can't get them back. You believe that. If you believe you can't get them back, you can't get them back. If you believe you can get them back, you can get them back. If you believe you're gonna get them back, you'll get them back. It's your belief. Beliefs shape it. You can question it all you want. You could say, well, I don't know if their higher self hears me. I don't know if they'll forgive me. Let me tell you this. If you're going to get them back, all that stuff has to occur, doesn't it? So there's no, I wonder if I'm getting them back, because I believe and I know the way law of attraction works, right? And I'm getting them back, and I'm going to feel more love, and I'm going to imagine I'm going to do the things. I know the exercises. I know what I need to do. But I'm going to make sure my belief stays on track. I want to make sure that I stay strong and where my mind's at. And when I can do that, well, I can tell you this very much. You'll start to notice an enormous difference in the way you feel, in the way the synchronicities, coincidences, whatever you want to call them, begin to happen. And you'll start to notice the way your whole world starts to kind of shape and form itself. It's a very beautiful thing. Hopefully this makes a difference. I have no idea what I'm calling this show, but I'm assuming at some point we're going to give it a good title. But that being said, really, look at the beliefs. You're going to find your answers for sure right around that area. Going out with a great song by the Doobie Brothers. Music is the doctor. It's actually just the doctor, but music is the doctor. Anyway, Dan Radio Style.
Everybody's always asking me